12 Steps. Part 304. The Trap. Mara didn't sleep that night. She sat at her kitchen table, with 3 files open in front of her. The Ashworth case, the sealed Geneva report, and a thin folder she had pulled from her own archive. A case from 4 years ago. A case she had been ordered to close. She had closed it. She had followed orders. Now she understood why. Someone had needed her to walk away from Geneva, and someone had needed her to come back, 4 years later, in a different city, standing at the top of 12 steps, and finish what Daniel Ashworth had started. The question was, finish it for whom? Quinn found her at her desk at 6 a.m. You look terrible, he said, setting a coffee in front of her. I need you to do something for me, she said. Off the books. He pulled up a chair. How far off? Far enough that if this goes wrong, you never heard of me. Quinn studied her for a moment. They had worked together for 6 years. He had never seen her like this. Not scared exactly, but something close to it. Careful, like someone walking across ice she couldn't see. What do you need? He said. I need to find Robert Vane. The real one. Not the name. The man. Quinn nodded slowly. I'll start digging. The lead came from an unexpected place. Claire Ashworth called at noon. I found something in Daniel's apartment, she said. He had a second laptop, hidden. I only found it because I knew where he used to hide things when we were children. What's on it? Mara asked. I don't know. It's encrypted, but there's a sticky note on the back. A pause. It says, give this to the detective who counts. Mara closed her eyes for a moment. Daniel Ashworth had planned for this. Every step, and she was beginning to think that word was no longer a coincidence, had been deliberate. He had left a trail. For her specifically. Don't move, Mara said. I'm calling to you. Claire's apartment was on the east side of the city. A quiet building, unremarkable. Mara took 3 different routes to get there. She checked her mirrors the entire way. Old habits, from a time in her career she rarely thought about. Claire was waiting at the door. She handed over the laptop, without a word. Did anyone follow you? Mara asked. I don't know, Claire said. But someone called me this morning. Unknown number. They didn't say anything. Just listened, and then hung up. Mara felt the familiar chill move through her. Lock your door, she said. Don't open it for anyone. I'll call you tonight. The laptop took 4 hours to crack. Quinn had a contact, someone who asked no questions and accepted payment in coffee and silence. By late afternoon, they had access. What Daniel Ashworth had been hiding was not documents, not files, not evidence in any conventional sense. It was a list. 47 names, judges, politicians, intelligence officers. 3 names Mara recognized immediately. 2 from newspaper headlines, 1 from her own precinct. And at the bottom of the list, added in different ink, as if written later, in a hurry. 1 more name. Mara stared at it for a long time. It was her captain's name. Quinn, she said quietly. We have a problem. And at the bottom of the list, added in different ink, as if written later, in a hurry. 1 more name. Mara stared at it for a long time. It was her captain's name. Quinn, she said quietly. We have a problem. Can they? Mara's hands tightened on the wheel. They're about to find out. She pulled the car over outside a small hotel on the edge of the city. Anonymous. Cash only. The kind of place people went when they didn't want to be found. We stay here tonight, she said. Tomorrow we move. The call came at midnight, not from the unknown number this time, from Quinn's phone. Except Quinn was asleep in the next room, and his phone was on the table, in front of Mara. She answered it. You found the list. The voice was the same as before. Low, unhurried, almost gentle. I found it, she said. And now you're hiding. That's smart, but not smart enough. A pause. We know where you are, detective. We've known since you left Claire Ashworth's building. Mara said nothing. She moved to the window and looked out at the empty street below. A gray coat, standing on the pavement opposite, looking up. Robert Vane, in the flesh. She didn't run. Running was what they expected. Instead, she walked downstairs, out the front door, and crossed the street. Robert Vane didn't move. He watched her come with something that looked almost like respect. Up close, he was older than she'd expected. Calm in the way that only people who have done very dangerous things for a very long time can be calm. You're braver than I thought, he said. You left a playing card on your pillow, she replied. You wanted to be found. A slight smile. I wanted to be found by you specifically. Why? He reached into his coat pocket and held out a small USB drive. Because you're the only one on that list, he said, who doesn't belong there. Mara stared at the USB drive. What's on it? She asked. Everything. The network. The names. The Geneva operations. Ashworth found it, but he didn't know how to use it. You do. Why didn't you just send it anonymously? Robert Vane looked at her steadily. Because anonymous evidence disappears. People disappeared. I needed someone with a reason to fight, and enough left to lose. He paused. Your name is on that list because they tried to recruit you. 4 years ago, in Geneva, you walked away without knowing what you'd walked away from. Mara thought of the sealed file. The case she had closed on orders? And Ashworth? She asked. Did he have to die? Vane's expression didn't change, but something moved behind his eyes. That, he said quietly, is the right question. She took the USB drive. Back in the hotel room, she plugged it in with Quinn, looking over her shoulder. The files loaded slowly. Hundreds of them. Years of operations, payments, names, coordinates, and then, buried near the bottom, a single video file. She opened it. The footage was grainy, time-stamped 4 years ago. Geneva, a hotel room. A man sitting across a table from someone whose face was turned away from the camera. The man on screen was Daniel Ashworth, younger, less afraid. And the person across from him, the one whose face she couldn't see, said just 4 words before the footage cut out. 4 words that made Mara's blood run cold. She looked at Quinn. He had gone very pale. That's impossible, he said. No, Mara said. It's just the beginning. End of part 3. Part 4, the finale, coming next week.